welcome to the absolutely amazing live from COP30.
My name is Joel. I'm 15. I'm from Alberta, Canada.
My name is Brock. I'm 18 and I'm from Alberta, Canada. We are so happy to be here with you guys, and we are but two of the many fantastic hosts you guys are going to be meeting today. Are you guys excited about the event? Let us know in the chat. Awesome! Let's go ahead and get this party started.
Para, Brazil is home to numerous indigenous groups due to its high ethnic diversity, including the Munduruku, who live along the Tapajós River, and the Kayapo, who have villages in the state. Other groups with a presence in Para may include the Sorui and Iarara, along with many others, some of whom remain in voluntary isolation.
Before we start, we would like to thank the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation for sponsoring this event. Your generous funding of our Live from COP has made it possible for all of these awesome students from around the world to connect with us on the ground, so thank you.
Hello, guys. I'm Elisa. I'm 15 years old and I'm from Brazil. I'll start off by the essential topic. What is COP? Well, for those who don't know, COP stands for Conference of the Parties, the annual assembly where almost every country in the world meets to negotiate and make decisions on climate change, with core goals being keeping the global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius, helping countries to build resilience against climate impacts, and stabilize greenhouse gas emissions. This year's conference is being hosted in my home, Brazil. So let's take a moment to introduce the country. For starters, our nation is world renowned for its gigantic biodiversity, proudly home to over 55,000 plant species and encompassing 6 distinct vital biomes. But our diversity is everywhere, especially on the plates. You can't talk about Brazil without mentioning feijoada, our rich national stew, or our iconic coxinha and the beloved pão de queijo, the cheese bread. Well, having COP conference in Brazil is really exciting. It's the first time it being in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. And being with that, we are able to hear the perspective of the indigenous people, them actively speaking at events, demanding action from global leaders, something crucial to advocate for their territorial rights as many decisions directly affect their land. That was a brief introduction to what is COP and a bit of a Brazil. Welcome to my country.
My name is Juliana. I'm from Colombia and I'm 16 years old.
Anyway, my name's Liberty. I'm 16 and I'm from Canada. Yeah. Basically, we're just going to be talking about the impact of climate change, what climate change is, stuff like that.
So first, to start introducing you this topic, we need to know what is a continent. Continent is a giant piece of land made up of countries. There are 7 continents in the world.
Now that we know what a continent is, it's important that we know what climate change is. The Earth's weather is changing and making the world change. Burning things like oil, gas, and coal release something called carbon. Carbon is used like a blanket to wrap around the Earth, and it makes the Earth a little bit too warm. A warmer Earth means worse weather, rising sea levels, and animals often losing their homes.
But what is important to know what climate change is? It's important that we need to be conscious about the actual situation of our planet, because that's the future we will live in.
Why is this happening? People often don't take the time to be aware of what's happening on the Earth and choose rather to ignore it. That's why it's so important you guys are all here today learning about climate change.
Now, we're going to introduce you how climate change has impacted all continents in the world.
If we could just go back to the slideshow, it's like, okay.
So we're having a little bit of problems with sharing the presentation.
Sorry, everyone.
We're going to try to continue. So we need to, before we introduce the problem of the countries, we need to say the name. Okay, Liberty? So you can start.
Oh, we're starting?
Yeah, without the presentation.
North America, where I'm from. In Canada, we've seen snow to fire. Over here, we can, or I guess you can't see it, but in Canada, things and animals, often like polar bears, are losing their home due to the ice melting. We have a large place called the Arctic, and that's full of ice and snow, and it's very cold, almost negative 40 degrees Celsius a lot of the time. So when the ice starts melting, it's like the ground leaving from beneath you. And that's not very good for the animals. They need somewhere to stand and make their homes. Oftentimes, too, in America, they experience similar things. But one of the things they experience that Canada often doesn't see is extreme weather like tornadoes. Tornadoes are a bunch of air, hot air and cold air blowing in a circle, and it creates these very strong winds that start to kind of destroy things. And so it's very destructive and not very good for cities and homes.
Now, talking about South America. Did you know that in Colombia, our beautiful representative bird, the hummingbird, has not come back since the pandemic? This sudden leave has impacted the country a lot. Then, in Brazil, it rains a lot. That causes floods. Like, imagine your house full of water. Next, in Central America, deforestation in Costa Rica is a big problem. This happens because they need the wood for things like paper and building materials.
Also, I want to apologize, guys. My sound is a little bit iffy because I'm in the blue zone right now for the first time at COP, which is really exciting to me. But there's a lot of people around me, so if my sound quality isn't great, I apologize. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Europe, and they experience a lot of things like droughts. In Europe, specifically in Spain, it's almost the opposite of the situation in Brazil. It doesn't rain that much, so there are many droughts, and this can be a little bit scary when everything's all dried up.
Now, Africa. There are two animals that are the cheetah and the rhino. Such a beautiful animals, but unfortunately, they are in danger of extinction. In fact, since 1995, 98% of the white rhino in Africa have gone extinct. There are only 50,000 left in the world.
Sorry. In Australia, there's something similar to animal extinction, except with plants. They have something called coral bleaching. When the air gets hotter, so does the water. And this makes things like coral living in the water feel a bit icky. Coral bleaching happens when the water gets too hot and the coral, which is supposed to be pretty pinks, blues, and oranges, turn white. Australia has also seen a lot of hurricanes, which happens when the sea gets hot and the air is cold. The hot and cold mix together and create a crazy storm. These storms can wreck houses and cities.
Now, Antarctica. Antarctica and Canada have a lot in common. They have Arctic areas with a lot of similar animals. Things like polar bears, penguins, and seals are losing their home because the ice is melting. Can you imagine being an animal? How would you feel?
In Asia, they have a lot of droughts, just like Europe. In Egypt, when the temperature rises, it makes the sea levels rise, which can cause floods as well as droughts. So this can impact the country a lot and can be really scary. In India, the same problem of Costa Rica, they have a lot of deforestation, which is ending with a lot of the habitats of lovely animals being gone. Now that we've kind of talked a little bit about each continent, I'm going to give a little summary of what's been talked about so far in our group. We've had floods, droughts, fires, melting ice, extinction, and extreme weather. That's a lot.
But don't be worried about it. We have a solution and you can be part of it.
Doing things like picking up garbage and recycling and sharing what you've learned here today can all make you help the solution to climate change. It's not all bad, but we need to work together to make it great again. Thanks everyone so much for having us.
Hi, my name is Paz. I'm 15 years old and I'm from Colombia.
Hi, my name is Albert. I am 17 years old and I am from Peru.
The manifesto talks about different opinions or experiences that teenagers have lived through their lives, referring to climate education. It also talks about how our daily lives is affected by climate change. We wrote this manifesto with kids from many countries, each one sharing their own experiences and points of view. This helped us understand that climate change is not only happening in our country but all over the planet. The manifesto is divided into 8 parts. The first one is talking about how climate education should be more important and should have a bigger impact on our schools. More research is required and this in this aspect because we as children deserve to know what is really happening in the world. Our next demand states that not only the planet is being affected but also our mental health. It talks about how the lack of green areas is affecting our community and making us sad about what could be our future. Third, we shared that we not just want to learn about what's happening, but also and learn, uh, experience and learn of what's happening in our lives and looking for solutions to these problems. Next, we talk about how education should be more dynamic and we should start taking action. Our fifth demand talks about how we should include indigenous knowledge in projects and education, inspiring children to be guardians of their environment. The sixth one is about how children should have a voice and be heard. The seventh demand is about how schools should place more emphasis on climate education and do more activities in which we can realize what are we doing right and what we are doing wrong. And finally, we demand that climate education should also be for teachers since they are the ones who teach us.
With you read our manifesto and share it with your friends, family, and the decision makers of your countries. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Danica and I'm 17 years old. I'm from Canada. I love hiking in the Rocky Mountains during the summer and skiing in winter.
Hello, my name is Candelaria. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Bogota, Colombia. I'm a singer and I adore watching and making movies. We're going to play a little game of trivia about climate change. Do you guys know a lot about climate change? Well, let's test your knowledge.
You'll have 30 seconds to decide. Type your guess in the chat and then we'll reveal the answer.
We're going to say our first question. What is the definition of climate change? A, the earth becoming cooler. B, a change in average weather patterns. C, the earth becoming warmer. Or D, an increase in rainfall. What do you think?
That's tricky. I know the earth is becoming warmer. I've heard that. But is that the right answer?
There are parts where it's getting colder. There is a lot of rain. All places are flooding.
Yeah, I think they're all true to some extent. I know that there's other extremes, and sometimes things even become colder. But,
There is a lot of B in the chat.
yeah, we're getting a lot of B. I think that looks right.
Does it? Well, it is correct. The answer is B. Climate change means that the Earth's usual weather, like temperature and rain, is changing over a long period of time.
All right, on to our second question. A carbon footprint is a measure of what? A, the number of footprints you leave in nature. B, how many positive things we do for the environment. C, the amount of garbage in the ocean. Or D, the amount of greenhouse gases an action releases into the atmosphere.
I don't know. That A is looking pretty good to me.
How many footprints you leave? What do we think? What are we getting in the chat?
We're getting a lot of D.
Oh, there's some B as well. How many positive things? Some D and some B. What do we think?
Yeah, what do you guys think?
Oh, we're getting more D.
I don't know, you guys.
All right, the correct answer is D. A carbon footprint is a way to measure the greenhouse gas emissions from the things we do every day.
Okay, on to our next question. Our next question is which mode of transport results in the least amount of emissions? We have A, driving, B, biking, C, taking the train, or D, flying an airplane. How'd you get here, Danica?
Oh, I flew in an airplane. I don't think
So
that's
did
very
I.
good. Oh, we're getting some B.
Getting B. I know a lot of people travel by train.
Hmm.
A lot of people get around within their continents by train.
I know that train is supposed to be better for the environment.
Is it? But is it the best
But is it
though?
the best? Oh, we're getting some D, some A.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of diverse answers.
That's interesting. What's our answer?
Okay, the answer is B. The mode of transport that produces the least emissions is riding a bicycle or walking. These ways don't use any fuel or release any greenhouse gases, so they are the best for the environment.
All right, our third question is about animals. Which animal has become extinct because of climate change? A, the polar bear, B, the passenger pigeon, C, dinosaurs, or D, chickens?
Well, there aren't any more dinosaurs, are there?
No, I don't know. I know that polar bears are having problems with the ice melting, but are they
You're from
extinct?
Canada, right?
Yeah, I'm
You
from
ride them to
Canada.
school, don't you? In Colombia, unfortunately chickens are way too small to ride to school, but
Oh, we've got an A.
seeing a bunch
Polar bear. I know polar bears
couple
are
answers.
dragons.
seeing an A.
Right. We've got an A. The correct answer is actually B. The passenger pigeon is an example of an animal that went extinct because of human actions like hunting and habitat loss from climate change. It used to be one of the most common birds in North America, but it disappeared completely around 1914.
Our next question is which one of these is a greenhouse gas? We have A, carbon dioxide or CO2. We have B, water vapor or H2O. C, methane, CH4, or D, all of the above. These all look pretty tricky, don't they?
Yeah. Carbon dioxide. I know we breathe that out every day. Water vapor, I don't know.
That's pretty
tricky.
common,
Yeah, do you
actually.
think water vapor is a greenhouse gas?
Methane sounds scary. Sounds like a topic we would see in chemistry.
What are we getting in the chat? We have a D.
We do
All of
have
the
a D. We also have a B.
B, water vapor.
Are they all in the environment?
That's very tricky. I know we have water vapor in nature, but I didn't think it was a greenhouse gas.
Neither did I. But
Right, what's our
they
answer?
are actually all greenhouse gases. So our answer is D. The correct answer is D. All of the above. Carbon dioxide, CO2, water vapor, H2O, and methane, CH4, are all greenhouse gases. Water vapor is actually the most abundant greenhouse gas and causes about half of the natural greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide and methane are also very important because they are produced by human activities and contribute to climate change by trapping the heat in the atmosphere. I think we got a lot of different answers here today. You guys know a lot about climate change.
Yeah, I hope you all learned something. Thanks for joining us.
And we hope you learned a little more about your environment.
Hello everyone, my name is Sireen and I'm a 13-year-old from Egypt. You know, I once went to the Museum of National Civilization and I've seen real mummies.
Hello guys, I'm Fatima. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Costa Rica. Last year, I went to Mexico and I visited the step pyramids called Chichen Itza. How can we help from your houses or your school to mitigate the impacts of climate change? Well, first of all, and a simple thing we can do is close the tap when you're not using it, like when you're brushing your teeth or when you're taking a shower. This is because saving water is very important because we all need water to survive. So if we save more water, we will have more water for the future.
You can also walk or ride your bike instead of riding a car. That helps the planet because cars pollute the air and pollute the planet. Also, extracting gas out of the ground affect rivers and oceans.
And last of all, you can turn off the lights when you're not using it because this helps to save electricity. And using too much of it, it is bad for the air and for the environment.
Now that you know how to take action, I hope you do, and I hope you encourage others around you to take action too, because all of our little acts together can make a big change.
Thank you.
But we would like to see your art. So if you had a chance to draw an art piece during the event, you are welcome to turn your camera on and share it. But the other exciting thing is we are going to have some Q&A. So I have my students all around me here waiting to answer some questions. So if you have a question for the students that are here, I want you to type it in the chat. We're going to try to get to as many questions as you have. So are you interested in knowing what it's like in Brazil, what it's like in COP? Would you like to know more about some of their action projects or what brought them here? Do you just want to know a little bit more about them? You can type all of your answers in the chat, and we will get to them as quickly as we can. And while you are thinking of questions, I actually have a few questions that students submitted yesterday that we are going to ask as well. So my first question for everyone is, can you tell me a little bit more about an action project that you are working on in your school, either before or after COP?
Hi, so I'm from Colombia, and in Colombia, our main problem is the sudden leave of hummingbirds. So our action plan is to spread out information about two plants called the Heliconia and Lantana, that these plants are so attractive to the hummingbirds, and also they are cheap and easy to care. So what we want is to talk to the mayor and tell him about these plants. So in all the city, we can start planting these plants so the hummingbirds can come back.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing. That sounds like a great project. And Melissa, I think you have one to share as well.
Yeah, at my school, Colégio Magno, we have our own food production. We grow our food in our garden, which runs on aquaponic and hydroponic systems. We use for those who don't know, aquaponic and hydroponic systems, they run on fish wastewater, in which the fish waste is used as a fertilizer for the plants, and also the plants filter the water for the fish. So it's very good for the environment because it uses way less water, and it also takes less space.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing. That sounds like a great project. Brock, you are next, sir.
Indeed, I am. So, thank you very much. The action project that my school is doing. So, we have an environmental club called Ecovision at our school at Lacombe Composite High School, and in Canada. And the project we're currently doing, we use a fancy word to describe it. It's called agrivoltaics. That's a long one. But basically, what it does is that we put solar panels on stilts and put them above our bushes and our trees. And we are going to see if we can use the solar panels to get the most amount of energy from those solar panels. And hopefully the solar panels in turn will also help with the growth of our berries by providing them shade. So, yeah, so in the end, hopefully we can get more berries and get more energy for our school.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing. That is a lot of things happening in one school. Thank you very much. It's awesome. Okay, my next question for you guys is, if you had one piece of advice for a child or a young person watching this event right now, someone who maybe wants to get more involved in climate or is feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the actions that they could be taking, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give to the young people watching this event now?
Okay, hi.
So my advice for you is starting by little things. So you start doing little actions, and those little actions make a really big change. So yeah.
Start with little actions. I love it. Thank you so much. What about you, Candelaria?
Yeah, I would tell you guys to go outside. Look around your neighborhood, look around your green zones, look around your school, and identify those things that are changing. Like, let's say there's a lot of rain and there's a lot of floods. Try to find things you can do for these problems that are within your neighborhood and in your communities.
Amazing. Thank you very much. We have another piece of advice for you all. Serene.
My piece of advice to you guys is don't be scared to take the first step. Take the first step, and you find more people to follow you. Some people are afraid to take the first step. Don't be afraid. Just go for it, and more people will follow.
All wonderful advice. And I will say, I've seen these students do some amazing action projects and awesome things in their countries. So I really think that you guys should take their advice 100%. Okay, now my next question, I think, is probably for my students joining me from Colombia, because the question is, how should we take care of hummingbirds? So my question is wondering if they would like to support hummingbirds in their own environment, in their own gardens, in their own community. What can students do to try to help hummingbirds? What are some small actions that they can take? Because I think that we all love hummingbirds. I mean, I definitely do.
Hi. So first, what we need to do is that the plants that are attractive to hummingbirds, we need to take care of them a lot, because like our school experience that we had orchard, and because of pandemic we start like it start dying the plants, so the hummingbirds start like going and never come back. So first we need to take care of their plants because it's their habitat.
And also, the birds in Colombia, the hummingbirds, have this thing where they get food, and that's really bad for them because their beak starts to damage, and like the water with sugar also doesn't work for them. It's not good for their health.
I did not know that.
And within our school, we have a lot of different plants that I think we can later on put them in the chat so that you guys can find those plants within your school and see if hummingbirds come to the places where you guys live.
Amazing. Lots of good pointers. I'm learning so many new things here, and I've been hanging out with these guys for 2 weeks. Okay, we have a few more great questions that are coming up through the chat. So keep popping them in there as they come up. My next question to everyone is, what is a thing that has made you change your opinion towards climate change during your participation at COP? Now, I know a lot of us have a lot to say about this because this is actually a big discussion that we had the other night in the hotel. So I would love to hear from you guys. What's something that you've learned or done while you're here in Brazil that has changed how you think about global climate change? Something that has maybe changed your perspective or changed how you view climate change and think about climate change. Got one?
Yes, I do. So, one of the biggest things that has really expanded my horizons of like how I think about climate change is just how many people there are. I had the same idea last year. It's like, oh, I went to one of these big events last year, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a lot more people than I thought it would, definitely. But then I went to this one, and I got invited into the fancy blue zone with all the professional people for a day, and I realized, oh my goodness, there's so many more people that I don't know about, and it somehow again blew my mind, and it really reinforces the idea that if you care about climate change, you are not alone.
That's amazing. The power of feeling so many people working towards one thing. Yes, I think it is a little bit crazy when you first see the crowds when you get in there and see how many people are working for a future. Great answer. Thank you, Brock. All right, and Joelle, what do you think? Something that's changed your perspective?
I would say something that has changed my perspective is, in another way, all the people that come and share their ideas with everybody that comes to kind of see what's happening and who's trying to solve it.
Amazing. And we have had very diverse perspectives, thank you, while we're on the ground here. And I have seen, he's not making it up, how much all these kids have learned from each other. I think that you kids are actually really the experts on climate change. It's not really the old people here. It's you guys that are living it, 100%. Okay, we have one last question, time for one more question. We're supposed to wrap up in 5 minutes, but I really want to get to this one. And this is asking, what has been the most interesting thing that you all have learned this week while you are here in Brazil? So something that you've learned or something that you've done, something interesting and exciting, something cool and fun. The kids at home, yeah, I'm not the chooser. Who is it? All right, Teja.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Teja and I'm from India. The funnest thing that I've done here is go on a cruise and dance to some traditional Brazilian music. We had so much fun. And even the extreme hangout, which was on Saturday, it was so fun. We learned about many people, and we've also learned a girl from India, Tamil Nadu. Her name is Prasiddhi. She's the youngest youth delegate from India. She's 13 years old.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I did see some videos of the dancing and the music. It did look like a lot of fun. It's awesome.
Okay, so the most interesting thing I learned this week, and in general at COP, is that a lot of people care about what we're doing here. And in our communities, a lot of us are kind of the only ones who are really trying, who are in these projects, who are making these things happen. But as Brock said, there are a lot of people here. There's a lot of people who do want to make a change, who are like giving it their all for the planet. And I just find that extremely inspiring. And I wanted to be here and give my little grain of sand to trying to make this world better, not only for myself, but for the future.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And a final thought of something exciting and interesting.
Yeah, I think that the most exciting thing that I did in this week is that in the Carbonites we have like all nights we have a reflection meeting, and it's so interesting to talk with all the people that are from different parts of the world, because one thing that for example the people from Canada expressed, it was that they were so impacted about the situation here in Belém. And for example, the Latins said like, whoa, in Latin America we have similar things. We're impacted that you are impacted about this. So it's like so relieved that the people that didn't know about this reality of the world, now they know and they can start helping to make a change and having solutions.
Amazing. The cultural exchange here is, you can stay here because we're almost done. Cultural exchange here is maybe one of my favorite parts of having everything together. Yes. So you guys can gather in. We're going to say a final goodbye. I want to say thank you very much for hanging out with us during all of our tech issues, because there's been a lot. For those of us that are watching this recording, we will be uploading everything to YouTube, and we're going to share our slides with all of the teachers as well, in case there's any parts of the presentation that you missed. But just in case we didn't hear it at the beginning, we wanted to say a huge thank you to our friends at the Alberta Council for Global Cooperation, because without their funding to make this possible, none of this would be happening and none of these kids would be able to be sharing their voice on the ground. And our final thing before we go, you are welcome to join in. So if you would like to unmute yourself, oh, I see our little Mochi, our little
Yeah, this is Mochi. He's our mascot, and he wanted to say a quick goodbye.
All right, he's here for the decarbonized cheer. So Mochi, you're welcome to join in. Anyone else is welcome to join in as well. We say 3, 2, 1, decarbonize. So if you have a camera, you can turn it on for the cheer, and you're also welcome to unmute if you would like to. You guys ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Decarbonize.
Awesome, wonderful. Thank you again so much for joining. You guys did so great. You guys did so great. And we'll see you next year. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.